What's going on, everybody? It's the one and only Adrian Marcel. And you know what? You know I got soul, baby.
All right, You Know I Got Soul here with Adrian Marcel. The debut album, GMFU, just came out a couple months back.
Yeah.
What does this moment mean for you? Because we waited so long to get to this point.
You know, I'm going through like a moment of transcendence, you know, since the album finally came out, man, because it's been a long time coming, you know, since 2012, 2013, dropping 7 days a week. The rave about that and the fan base that I obtained at that point, you know, and even 2 a.m., you know, going platinum this year. So very happy about that, man. It's been a lot of blessings, you know, but I definitely needed that time, you know, away to recollect myself, to get over some of the things that were kind of going on, you know, through the 2014, 2016 time, you know, separating from my label and going independent and doing this truly on my own, you know what I mean? Really honing in, you know, of course with Raphael Saadiq and some few very talented producers and songwriters, and coming out with something that I feel is very authentic and original and not like anything that's out right now, you know. And for it to be received the way it is, man, I'm blessed. And again, it just shows, you know, I got soul, man, you know.
Love the organic way you released this project. I mean, we first heard about it when you were giving out physical copies in your hometown, you know, asking people to come out and see you to get a copy. Yeah. What made you decide to do it that way?
Well, I really wanted to tap in with my fan base, you know, being gone for so long and not truly having that connection fully with them, you know. I had to take a step back for myself, but I've always been a very personable artist. I've always been somebody that my fans could come and talk to if they see me in the street, if they're at shows, if whatever it may be, we're having a connection, you know, we have a moment. So even with 7 days a week, I went hand to hand. You know, I moved around city to city and touched the people that touched that CD, you know. So when it came to this, I wanted to find out how could I be more innovative and how can I still touch more people, having more of a fan base than I did then, you know. So I figured the best way is to, you know, the U.S. Postal Services, you know, get it out to the people as soon as possible, you know. So I started sitting up and writing addresses and having people, you know, place their orders and everything. And the feeling that my fans got from receiving those in the mail with those personal letters and everything like that again just showed me that what I was doing was new, like the way that they were feeling about that and how they received it. So I'm always about being innovative, especially in ways that I can talk and communicate with my fans, you know. So it really was just a new beginning for me, really. So
can you talk about some of the themes you've got on this album? Because when you hear it, it's like the whole spectrum: love, relationships, heartbreak. You know, you got a young man turning up, having a good time. It's all on there. Talk about the themes that run throughout it.
Well, you know, I come from East Oakland, man, you know, born and raised, and it's very versatile where I come from, you know, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of things that go on in my city. It's very cultural. So with this album, I honed into the Bay Area sound, or even better yet, I'll say the town sound, Oakland sound, you know. I wanted people to feel what I felt. I went back home to create this album. You know, I had to go back and get in tune with those sonics, you know. So when it came to the themes of it, I wanted to make sure I was tapping into the things that I felt were missing. You know, being from Oakland, we're very big on just sticking with the culture and very prideful of what we represent. So I represent love, and I've always represented a certain fence for relationships and such. So the whole thing about it was just to show my growth and what I had been through the past 2 years, who I am. You know, I feel like there was a disconnect between, you know, between some of those times, me kind of getting off the label and going independent, and that's why I needed to take that step back so that I can come back and give more to the fans and give more to the supporters, you know. I feel like it wasn't nothing too deep. It wasn't nothing that would go over anyone's head. It was something that I feel, it's some things that I feel everyone goes through. And I feel that we're missing in music. I feel like we're not talking about love enough. We're not talking about staying together. We're not talking about the fact that as a male, I still have feelings and I still miss a woman. I still yearn for her. I still need her. You know what I'm saying? We live in a very sexist world these days. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm building that bridge back again and being one of those artists to do that.
Immediately when you start playing the album, you hear this skit that comes on with this young female, Candy. She's been on all of your projects that we've heard so far. What's the significance of her, and what is the meaning behind all of that?
Well, you know, when we did 7 days a week, Candy represented that Detroit feel. You know what I mean? And Oakland is very much alike like Detroit. You know, they're very similar, just like Chicago and such. You know, and I felt like I wanted to have something very authentic, you know, in that piece, being my first offering to the world. And with that, it kind of just grew, you know. I did feel like in Week After Next, it got a little aggressive, you know, and it gets like that in relationships and going through things with people. But for this album, I felt like it was only right to start with Candy rather than, you know, kind of see her in more of the middle or to hear her once you've already kind of gotten a feel for the album. I wanted her to kick it off, and I wanted it to be a certain tone and a certain feel of love. You know, I think that Candy represents a big part of Adrian Marcel and my career thus far, because she's been a part of all my projects, you know, like you said. So I just really wanted to keep that tradition going. It's almost just like keeping, you know, presented by Raphael Saadiq. You know, it meant just as much. The people that put the hard work into my projects, a lot of them haven't changed. They're a lot of the same people, you know, and I like to show that respect and that honor to the people that rock with me and do the same. So,
you know, when listening to the album, it's like you hear one side of it is that raw and honest traditional R&B sound, and then you've also got some of the trendier sounds on there too. So, you know, mixing both of those, and a young R&B artist like yourself, what is the balance there? How do you know, try to make a current sound, but also, you know, please a younger audience, but also make what's in your heart?
I think for me personally, living life, you know, and tapping into reality, you know, constantly being aware of what's going on in current time, you know, I think it keeps me balanced and me constantly just being aware of my growth. You know, we all evolve, we all grow, and I think sometimes we run from the growth and where we're headed. So it wasn't that I listened to anybody in particular. I really didn't listen to a lot of music other than my own, you know, and other than songs from like 7 days a week or those times, you know, because the focus was to hone back in on that sound, to hone back in on, you know, the original Adrian Marcel and how I was presented to the world. So as far as the trendiness goes, I'm young. You know what I mean? I'm young. I still turn up. I still have a good time. I'm still hanging out in clubs every now and then. I'm still moving around and kicking it. So those sounds and those sonics are still gonna, you know, find their way to my soul and everything. And it was just really all about throwing away what I didn't need and keeping the things that stuck and that had substance to it. You know, I didn't want to be so trendy that I lost the substance of what Adrian Marcel represented. You know, the brand of who I am, honestly. So it was definitely difficult, but I kept it fun. The people around me kept it fun. They kept it young, and they kept it original, you know.
Just want to mention a couple of my favorites from the album, and you can tell me your thoughts on creating it. The first one, the melodies have been stuck in my head. You know you do. I mean, right off the intro coming in, it's been stuck in my head. So tell me about that one. You Know You Do
was a record that we did with No ID in LA, and it was some time ago, and James Fauntleroy, you know, had penned it with Jane Hancock and myself. And I've always been into acoustics, you know. I did a 50 Shades of Adrian thing, you know, acoustic. You know, I've always kind of added it to my shows, to my live performances as much as possible, and it's just something about the guitar for me. I've always been attracted to it, though I play piano, go figure. But, you know, I wanted to start this album off with just something so real that we kind of go past it sometimes. Like, we forget about our first moments when we meet that person, or how we met, or how it all began, you know what I mean? And the album itself is a journey, you know, so it starts from the meeting point, you know, and it ends with the question like, what now? You know, what's next? You know, so You Know You Do was one of those things that's really me. Like I talk like that, you know. I'm somebody that will let you know, like, hey, I know you say you don't love me, but quit playing, quit fronting, quit playing on yourself. You know you love me, you know.
Love that one. Also, another one we've had on repeat is Imagination. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Imagination. I did that one with B-Rock and Jane Hancock, and Imagination was one of those records where I think we really found our stride. It was one of the more beginning records that we recorded, and it was me really getting back, me really being like, yo, I'm tapped in, like this is dope, you know. Even the end, you know, it's, you know, something like voodoo. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck did you do? It's like, it was that R. Kelly preaching thing, you know. I grew up on a lot of kills, so I wanted to incorporate that real emotion. Like when you miss somebody, the way I've missed them before, like when you're dreaming of them, you see them, you smell them, you damn near can taste them in the dream. It's like, and then you wake up and they gone and they not there, and you realize it was just my imagination. You know, I've been through that type of feeling, and I felt like my vocals, I rarely go super hard with my vocals because I'm so about live performance. I want you to come to my concerts, and I want you to hear me get loose there. You know, I like to save some for my records, but I'm not naive. People, to be drug into the concert, you have to hear it, you have to feel it. And I really wanted people to feel my emotion through that record. So we really laid it all on the line right there, you know, and it was one of those nights where we just sat and listened to the song over and over again, like, yo, this is deep, you know.
And the last one I want to mention is Thinking. You know,
Yeah.
love the honesty and vulnerability on that one. Tell me about that one.
Thinking is crazy because before it came to light, it was really just like some lyrics we were coming up with in the studio, you know. 'Cause we've been texting every day, calling, we've been talking till we got no words to say. It was something slick, you know. It was something slick and fly that we were kind of coming up with, but we ran with it, you know. We thought to ourselves, like, how many men get thrown in the friend zone? You know what I mean? Like, and how many of us hate it? You know what I mean? And it's a nerve-wracking thing, that moment when you're trying to figure out if you are in the friend zone or if you're not, if you can take it somewhere else, if they thinking the same thing, you know. But and a lot of men these days, I feel like they don't know how to deal with that. You know, they don't know how to take on and conquer that fear. You know, for me, I need to know. I don't like to sit back and guess. You know, closed mouth won't get fed. So I like to keep it all the way 100. You know, with how I feel, especially when it comes to a woman. You know, so. It was me kind of laying that on the line. I think there's not enough vulnerability in male music these days, in male R&B. I think we real hard, you know. We don't have emotions. We don't miss you. We don't really love you. We don't love these hoes. Like, nah, I do. I love women. I miss them. I think about them all the time. It's like Jamie Foxx said, all the time on my mind. You know.
Awesome. And then just final thing, you know, the album's out. You mentioned separating from the label. You know, what's next for Adrian Marcel?
You know, right now we're headed back to just completely honing in with, like I said, my audience. You know, we're putting together a tour right now. The GMFU tour is on the way. Have no fear. You know, I've been planning out how to just make it more of an experience and more intimate. With those true fans and those true supporters, you know, because I'm all about growth, and since I did take some time away, I'm all about building that bond even stronger than maybe it even was, you know. So a lot more music on the way, you know, a lot of concerts, a lot of shows. You know, we've been dipping and dabbling into some acting now, so just keep your eyes on the screen, because I'm coming for you. Producing, you know, I've been producing for a few cats, and especially my girl who writes all of my music with me, Jane Hancock. Her project, The T, is on the way. Yeah, just as much as I can, being in the people's face and being in everyone's zone. Like, I want you to feel me. I want us to be close again. I want to just keep it building. A lot more East Coast, a lot more Midwest. You know, of course, you know, we're gonna hold Cali down. A lot more in the South. And you just got to kind of really stay tuned. You know, we're jumping and dabbling into everything. You know, I do got this baby face, so I may do this, you know, modeling thing, you know. But yeah, just tapping in with my fans. You know, even so much that I went out and I have this phone that I use to tap in. I call it the fam line, not the fan line. You know, and I'm gonna give y'all this number. It's the GMFU hotline. So I want y'all to make sure y'all tap in with me, okay? I want to know what your favorite songs are. I want to know how your day has been. I want to know what got you fucked up. You know what I mean? And why? And how we can get you back on track. You know what I'm saying? So call this number if you ever need to talk. It's 510-316-7607. I'll give it to you again because you're probably in awe. You don't think that's a real number. 510-316-7607. Call me. And then also you might want to go hit me up on my website, adrianmarcelofficial.com, because again, there's a lot of new merchandise there. There's a lot of other things that I'm sending out to you personally. So whether it be Week After Next CDs, whether it be GMFU CD, whether it be these fam limited edition pins, whether it be the fortune cookies, whether it be stickers, whatever it may be, it's here. Hit me up, you know, tap in because I'm back.